Welcome back to the Global Business Report on Rise. Let's talk fashion. In 2020, leather apparel was the world's 425th most traded product with a total trade of about $6.1 billion. Data from the OECD, the Observatory of Economic Complexity, showed that between 2019 and 2020, the exports of leather apparel was down about 16% from 7.3 billion to 6.1. Top exporters, let's take a look. Italy, China, India, Pakistan, and France. Let's take a look at the top importers. I think the same players, exporters, are also there as well. Okay, top importers, USA, Germany. Okay, there's Italy again. There's France. There's Switzerland. So the question is, well, can Nigeria get into the top 5 or top 10? We're being joined now by Femi Olayebi, who is the creative director of Femi Handbags and CEO of My World of Bags, and the founder and curator of the Lagos Leather Fair, which is kicking off tomorrow right here in Lagos. You're very welcome. Good morning to you.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thanks for joining us. So yes, that's my first question to you as a retailer. How do you sell more of your bags to other countries overseas? How can Nigeria become a player, join the Italys and the Frances and the Chinas of the world in exporting more leather goods? What do you think?
Yeah, it's something that can easily work.
Yeah.
But I think that we need to have the infrastructure in place. We have to have the systems in place. We have to have the standards in place. Because I think that one of the things they have over us is the quality of the goods that they produce. So when you hear made in Italy, made in Italy is actually a concept. And what we're also trying to do is see how we can promote made in Nigeria.
Right,
because there's so much talent out here. We just need to promote that talent. And Lagos Leather Fair is, of course, one of the platforms we're using. But I think that it really boils down to the quality of work that we do. And that's, and then beyond the quality, being able to build the capacity that we need, commercial capacity that we need to be able to play on the global stage. Because right now, what it is we don't have that capacity, and there's so many reasons why that has come to play. Because within that industry, there's a massive skills gap. And even though we may have the challenges of raw materials, we may have the challenges around accessories and hardware, I think for me the missing middle is actually the quality, and that is because we simply do not have the skills to be able to bring that.
See, that's why we have guests, players in the sector to come on the show to talk about this stuff. Because I was thinking it was just, I guess, infrastructure, power, and all these other things. There's skills.
Well, infrastructure definitely.
Infrastructure is there
but
as well,
I always say that the missing middle is the actual craftsmen and women that can produce this our dreams and transform them into the beautiful products that can enable us become marketable out there in the global space.
Okay, great stuff. Okay, so let's get into the fair now. You're in bags, right?
Yes.
Are there jackets that are going to be at this fair?
Yes, there are jackets. Okay, there's a designer bringing jackets.
There is?
Yes.
All right, forgive my ignorance on international television. But the last time I wore a leather jacket was when I lived in New York, which is a cold place. Can you wear leather jackets here in this climate?
You remember the leather is on the outside.
Okay.
So it's the lining that really determines, the lining on the inside that really determines. So once you have breathable cotton lining inside the jacket, you're fine, because the leather does not necessarily touch your skin.
You have educated me. I was blind and now I can see. So you are the convener of this Lagos Leather Fair. So what's going to be discussed?
Okay, so apart from the discussions, let's start from the exhibitions.
Okay.
So we have a whole range of designers coming on board, and what we have done over the years is bring together the players along that value chain. So it's not just about designers like myself, it's also about this huge value chain, this huge supply chain. So we bring in suppliers of machinery and tools and equipment. We bring in suppliers of accessories, and when I say accessories, chains, locks, and things like that.
Okay.
And then, of course, you have the exhibitors who will be exhibiting shoes, usually footwear, handbags, and small leather goods. We have someone bringing in leather notebooks, for example. So it's just everything. We have leather jackets on display.
Leather.
It's leather. It's a leather world out there, and an amazing one, And then beyond the exhibitions, we will also have very, very topical and engaging conversations. And the conversations around, we're going to have a conversation, for example, around the AFCTA and how they can come in where creatives are concerned, and how creatives can actually play within that bigger ecosystem, Africa, and how that can positively impact what we're all doing. We're going to have conversations around payment gateways, because we find that one of the huge problems of small businesses is having to make payments, across Africa. So, for example, it's very difficult for us. It's easier for us to make a payment to have a payment made from the UK, or receive payment, than within Africa.
Gotcha.
And even beyond that, the shipping of goods across Africa is so much more difficult than shipping goods around the UK. So we have that coming. We're going to talk about social impact. I've become a social impactor in that space because we've created a platform called Kafawa also, where we train, and we realize that small businesses can actually impact the wider ecosystem. We will be talking about de-risking businesses so they become more bankable. We're going to be talking about
so much.
So much, but this one is also important because we have designers going to come in and talk about their copyright infringement stories, because that's a huge issue in that space, and so much more.
Robust.
Really. It is very robust.
Okay, so this sounds like a lot of private sector folks. Public sector folks
most definitely
invited to this, so
and that's
the
why
people who make policies and so on.
Yeah, that's why we talk about bringing all the stakeholders to the table. For example, we're going to have the Ministry of Trade and Industry.
Well, there you go.
We'll be part of it. Yes, we have the Bank of Industry, naturally, who has supported us from day one. We have Afrexim Bank, who will be flying in from Cairo.
How about that?
To also represent. Yes, and then we have a few. We have NEPC coming also. We have a few agencies.
You got the big boys and girls in there. Very quickly, running out of time. Is this a Lagos only thing? Can we see a future where you have a Benue leather fair or a Sokoto leather fair? I mean, what's the future? Like scaling this across the
Great
country?
question, actually. But it's probably more difficult because Lagos is the commercial hub in the country. And the truth is, we started out wanting to be like, wanting to operate like the international bodies do. So you have the Linea Pelle, which happens in Milan. You have the Le Queer Paris, which happens in Paris. You have ASAF, which happens in Istanbul. And so what we really started out to do, and what we plan to do, is to get ourselves on that international calendar, because a lot of people travel to those places, Istanbul, Milan, Paris, So we believe that people need to also begin to come to us. And it's because it is the commercial hub, I think that it's always going to be Lagos for now. Yeah.
All right, and
we can create smaller clusters in those cities.
But it'll be Lagos for now. Finally, just very quickly, what's the future? What's the outlook as far as growth for your sector? Looking ahead.
Yeah, we need to get our act together. Because I think we have everything that it takes. We need to build a generation of young people that have different mindsets about manufacturing in the leather space, about beginning to genuinely consider this space as a space where there can be meaningful employment, dignified employment. And I think we really need to look at standards, so that we can also become beautifully made in Nigeria.
Great way to end the show. All right, wish you luck. I'm sure it's going to be great.
So
Femi Olayebi, founder and curator, Lagos Federal Palace Hotel tomorrow, right?
That's right, at the Balmoral.
Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.